Okay.
We all green?
Record.
Cool. All right, hey guys, it's Fletch. I just wanted to kind of do this intro video for you. Getting ready to kind of rehash the SEO 101 series that I did, expand upon it. Not only expand upon that, but also expand upon kind of the framework and the way I approach SEO whenever I'm visualizing an SEO project, especially when I'm working with a client site. This is really how I go about analyzing kind of the condition and the health of their website and what I'm going to start doing to make sure that they rank better as I work with them, okay? So this is ultra important if you're going to be doing client SEO, but it's also a very, very appropriate way to approach your own sites, whether you're doing lead generation like a lot of my business is, whether you're doing affiliate marketing, which I know a lot of you are getting into, whether you're going to go rank Amazon pages or Etsy pages or Shopify pages or whatever it might be. This really, from my perspective, from my experience being in this for 3 years, I don't know of anything that this kind of framework doesn't include. These are the factors that we're going to optimize to make sure that your pages rank. Okay, this is everything you need to pay attention to, for lack of a better term, when you are figuring out what you're going to do to rank a page on the internet. Okay, we're just going to get started with kind of the way I kind of happened upon this, and really the reason that this I think is an important way of looking at SEO from my background. I started really looking at the internet and everything that we do on the internet as a way to manipulate information on a certain page. Okay, whether we're going to go in and upload a video to a website, if we're going to go write a blog comment, or we're going to write an article, those are changes that we're making to the content on a URL. Okay, each and everything that we do on the internet is done on a URL. It's done on a page on the internet. Okay. Some of the things that we do on those URLs, if we're setting up our own personal site for a money site, if we're setting up a blog network site, if we're trying to get a keyword in the URL of a third-party site, are going to be influential to us for SEO, okay? So if we can do anything in that URL that helps us tell Google that this page is going to be about this keyword or topic, we're going to have a lot of influence over Google thinking that this particular page, I'm going to just go ahead and draw a big box here because we're talking about just a single page, okay? Don't worry about links, don't worry about other sites, don't worry about social platforms, don't worry about YouTube or whatever else. It's just any page on the internet, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Pinterest, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on our money site, whether it's on a PBN. This is just a single page, okay? So we're going to pay attention to URL. URL, I think, is the most influential piece of data that we can give Google as far as what our page is going to be about, all right? So beyond that, we have something called a title. That's a page title. And this is going to be something that gets written in a meta tag. Meta is, for lack of a better way of explaining it, it's just information about the page. It's specifically set up to be for the bots, for the computers to come and find your page and say, the title of this page is such and such, is windshield repair, Scottsdale, Arizona, okay? So this title is important for the bots to come and crawl your page to tell the bot, Google bot, what your page is about. It's going to pick this information up and send it to its database to run the calculation, run the algorithm on, okay? So we've also got something called description, okay? This is also a piece of metadata, okay? Now this piece of metadata is a little more wordy, you can put more terminology into it. You can have it include synonyms or LSI, latent semantic index words, things that are similar in concept to the keyword you're trying to rank for. But these three things are very, very influential for us to rank in Google for a given keyword. So we want to pay attention to them. We want to be able to not confuse Google but also not optimize, like over-optimize for it. It looks spammy. Now, the reason these three things, I think, are a little bit different than all the rest of the data that we have on a website that we're trying to rank for is because these three pieces of information are what Google shows in the SERP. So if you went in and typed in windshield repair, Scottsdale, Arizona, it's going to return your title, your description, and the URL. Those are going to show up in your rankings. So these are important not only for the bots, but to help get you click through, okay? So now beyond this, on each and every page, these are pieces that are on every page. These are HTML elements that are on every page on the internet, or can be at least on every page on the internet. Beyond this, we have what the actual visitor interacts with, and that's going to be content. Okay, so this content is important not only to help us rank, but to help us convert. Okay, so this kind of comes into play to help us rank in Google SERPs, but also to help the visitor who experiences our page say, oh yeah, that's the business I want to do. You know, I want to give them a call, or I want to buy their product, or whatever else it might be. So this content kind of comes in three forms. It's an article, you know, it's words. Oops. Article, which is, you know, words. Now these words can also be optimized for this keyword, right? We can have images or graphics. Now we think about keywords again, you know, file name. These are things that we can attach to these images or graphics. We can also have videos as embeds that will help Google understand, and also our user understand, what type of content we're providing on this page. That's what we're trying to do. The number one thing we're trying to do here is rank. Okay? So these things are going to come into play to help us rank. Now, there are a couple other pieces of information that I really look at and have been fairly recent to me to really frame it up this way. And they come down to kind of this. There are other pieces of metadata that do not show up in the SERPs. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But they help Google understand what our pages are about, right? So I'm just going to say other meta. And this is going to include things like schema. Okay, you may or may not have heard of this term schema recently, but it's kind of a buzzword right now in the industry. I really don't think it's any more important or less important than any of the other metadata for your page. Sometimes it can show in the SERPs. One of the instances of this is star ratings, okay? If you see a search engine result that has stars next to it, it's because of a schema definition. So sometimes schema will help you show up in the SERP, sometimes it doesn't. Regardless of whether it does or not, I think it's important to help Google as much as we can by defining these things properly. Whether you want to tell them that you're a local business, that your business name is such and such, that you have a product like windshield repair that a certain page is about. It's not just the URL, but it's an actual product that you are offering on that page. Those are things that we can do with schema. They have specific definitions. They're built to help the Google bot understand what your page is about. So we can include and optimize for those things, okay? And then beyond that, we have one of the biggest things that our SEO is based on, which is links. Links are made up of two things. One being your target URL, the other thing being your anchor text. Okay, I think a lot of the time people visualize links. You know, if this is one URL and we had a different URL over here, they would visualize links being out here someplace. And I don't know where this space exists. Quite frankly, the only place we can put a link is on a page, and that link can go out to a different page. You know, if I had a link over here, it in effect would do this, but the link actually exists here. And one of the things that make me want to help people consider links being on a page is that this anchor text is going to be influential for, if it pointing over here, it's going to be influential here, but it's also going to be influential here. Anchor text will actually help Google understand that this page is about the outbound anchor text that you have here as well. Okay, so when I start to kind of put together an SEO project, I start with what we kind of commonly refer to in our training as a money site, and saying, okay, I'm going to rank this page for a given keyword, and then start to think about the types of pages I'm going to build around it, the types of URLs I'm going to build around it, with all these same things. They're going to be about kind of the same content, and then this link is going to target, again, it's going to target that page. Okay, so what if this was a Facebook page, right? I want to try to get URL, title, description, content, other metadata if possible, okay, and then obviously links pointing back here. Whether these links are follow or don't follow, that doesn't matter to me, quite frankly. I like to have do follow, but if it's a no follow and I have all the rest of the conditions in place, I'm happy. All right, so if this was a Facebook, if I had YouTube video, I would want it to be optimized according to this strategy as well as I can optimize it. Okay, if I've got a PBN site, I can optimize it accordingly with an outbound link pointing over here. Now, the only other thing that ever comes into play with SEO beyond this is traffic. Okay. All there is on-page optimization and links, which are, to my way of thinking, on-page optimization, and traffic. Traffic comes in two forms. One being direct traffic, which means somebody goes to their browser, they type in your exact URL, they go to the page. Or referral. Meaning they click on a link someplace and are taken to a different URL. They traffic your page through a link on the internet. Both of these types are important. We optimize for both of those as well. Those are going to be kind of in a different module. What I really wanted to get at was to kind of give you as simple of a picture, hopefully this is somewhat simple, of the only things, these are really the only variables that I pay attention to ever in online marketing and SEO. Okay? You pay attention to these things and you get these things, you're going to rank. And if you come into this with a mindset of understanding your market and converting the right way, you're going to make a ton of money as well. So that was kind of a kickoff video. Hopefully it helps you frame up what we're going to be paying attention to when we go in and we look at different tools to get these things optimized. There's a lot of details that are involved, but this hopefully gives you kind of a bucket to put these different tools and these different training videos into that helps you kind of see a broader picture of really the only things I think that are important to pay attention to make sure that you rank really, really well in Google. And this is going to be all that ever really comes into play for what Google pays attention to help you rank. It's going to come down to what your page is about and whether you're getting traffic to that page and what that traffic is about. So I'm going to build up this whole SEO 101 series around this concept. I really hope it helps you. We'll catch you on the next video.
So it's still running right now. I actually want you to look at it because it looks exactly the same. It's about down at 20, meters running, record, meters running.
Looks like it should be good.
Okay.
So we should be able to do this.